My first kiss was in the third grade. Hello, my name is Justin Burrow, and I'm the host of the Jables Wavels YouTube channel, and that might seem a little young for some of you. It seems to be in conversation. It seems to have been a young age to have kissed, at least in my area or the people around me. I don't know if it is. I don't know the actual statistics. I don't look up that kind of stuff. So that's where I am. There's a lot of children's media that sort of treats the first kiss as a really big important moment in a kid's life. And it's very heavily reinforced. And it can be. It can be a big milestone and very important. But it can also add a lot of pressure to a potential first kiss in a way that causes stress and anxiety and disappointment because you're trying to have this perfect fairy tale kiss or just a nice first kiss, and your expectations are set pretty high from what you've consumed. And it leads to disappointment. It's so rare for everything to line up perfectly. And quite frankly, I think it's impossible to get a perfect first kiss. I think you don't get a perfect first kiss because I already got a perfect first kiss and you don't get it. It's third grade. Miss Elizabeth's third grade class, and me and Jasmine, it's a fake name obviously, are not very well integrated with each other. We don't hang out that much. She was a few classes more wealthy than I was, and the socioeconomic divide had sunk its hooks into us that early. We sat at the same table sometimes for lunch. We said hey to each other in the halls. That was about it. So that's why I was surprised when she approached me this day. It goes school buildings, right, and then a large patch of asphalt, and then the playground, separated by a little wooden curb divider thing. And the playground's covered in these pine wood shavings, this sort of soft, pale bark. And it's so that when kids fall from 13 feet high in these structures, that when they land, they just break some of their bones instead of most of them. And there's a bunch of interconnected structures, and there's a merry-go-round, and there's a swing set, and there's gadgets and doohickeys to play with. It's a pretty average, middle grade, like, playground, I think. And I'm walking from one side of the playground to the other, and I hear Jasmine call my voice from back into the side, and she calls my name out. And I say, okay, hey, what's up? And she says, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact dialogue, but it's the gist of the conversation. She says, hey, come over here. So I go, okay, of course. And I follow her to this big orange plastic thing. It's a tube, and if you've been to a playground, you've probably seen it or know what it is. It's a big plastic tube. It's thick plastic, and it's orange or gray or one color, and you crawl through it. That's what it's for. You can crawl through it or hide in it and cook alive because it's 95 degrees and the plastic's been baking all day, and you're a child. But she asked me to go in. She goes in and tells me to follow her, and of course I go, okay, I'll follow you. I think I was one of the earlier kids, at least in my peer group, to start liking girls and knowing that I did. And God, it had just not stopped being a problem ever since. So I go inside, and she says, there's enough room for us to sit and not be touching the sides or the top because we're small. And we can face each other. And she says, I want to take Jake to the thing, the event. And I don't remember exactly what the event was. I don't think I went there. I think I would remember it if I did. Either it was super uninspiring or I didn't go. But it was probably a school function or a town event that a kid would invite another kid to go to. So I say, okay. She's asking me about, she's telling me about she wants to take Jake. So obviously she's going to tell me to tell her friend, to tell Jake, to tell me that he wants to take her, so I can tell her that. I've been in between this situation in so many different ways. That's sincerely what I'm expecting when she tells me that. And I'm thinking all of this, and I'm sure there's smoke coming out of my ears. And she says, we're going to kiss. In this really straightforward way, I remember. It was very... She's planned her week out. She knows what's going to happen. And she says, but I haven't kissed anyone yet, and I want my first kiss with Jake to be good. So you're going to kiss me so that when I kiss Jake, it's not weird. So I'll know what to expect. She just said it. And I'll take a moment to say that there's a running joke on the on the Jables channel about the character Jables, that he has a real soft spot for commanding or powerful and domineering women. And it's funny, but also it's not so much a joke as it is not a joke at all, really. It's more transference, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I think looking back, right at this moment is where I was like, this is probably when it got in you, when it happened, when it got deep in your brain that this is something you like. Or at least what made it clear. Because she just told me to do it. And I just did. Like, she just said, kiss me, and then waited a couple seconds, closed her eyes, and I'm like, that's the signal. That's the thing to do. So I lean in and we kiss, and it's like 2 seconds. We have closed lips. It's a nice enough kiss between two 8-year-olds. It's mostly platonic, obviously, and we break apart, and that's the end of the kiss. And I think the thing that I remember most about all of this is Jasmine's eyes. She just had such really compelling, bright blue eyes, and she had this kind of cute, short blonde hair, and but her eyes were shiny and just so pretty to look at, and I remember such a vivid color in my head, and that's like the strongest part of this memory for me, is that and the smell of the plastic, the superheated plastic that we were sitting in. So, like looking back on it now, it's like, okay, so cool. I'm gonna play the part of your pillow in this scene. Awesome, great. I'm cool with it. Fine, whatever. But it happened. You know, the kiss finished, and yeah, it wasn't very. I mean, having had more kisses and more intense kisses, not to mention, since then, it was fine. It was a good or decent first kiss, I think. Also, too, I think it felt like I would do it, but I didn't really think about it. And it's like, she said to kiss her, and all my wiring, all my biological and experiential and everything else, brain chemistry and structure changes in my life, have made all of this with her command like this perfect storm. It was gonna happen no matter what. Whether or not I thought I decided I'd kiss her or not. Just all of it seems to have just been dominoes. And you know, even though it was small back then, it was still a huge moment. Looking back on it now, it's not as impressive, but this was my first kiss. And what's more is that even if it wasn't so important, it also didn't matter because I remembered it as important. I remember it as important, so it's important to me. And if you think it doesn't count because we were too young, or we used closed lips, or it wasn't romantic, or whatever other criteria, if you want, I can do another video that says my first romantic kiss. I had to wait for a plane to pass. A video of my first romantic kiss, if you want. We're older, it's open-lipped, and it's more romantic. So I can do that in a later video if you like. So, my first kiss was in 3rd grade. What does it mean? Probably nothing. Probably very little, anyway. The truth is, in terms of experiences that I look back on and think, this had a big effect, it changed my life, it was so important, this just isn't one of those. There's a difference, I think, between meaning and practical meaning. It was very special to me. And I don't think that every... I'm kind of grasping for a point as we come to the end of the video. I don't think that every memory we go back to is certainly incredibly important. If the kiss had gone down differently or hadn't happened at all, I'm pretty sure I'd probably be in pretty much the same place, at least generally speaking. So why is it so important? Well, because it was. It doesn't have to have changed your life to be special to you, and I think that having that, even if it's a rose-colored way to look at it, when I can say, God, her eyes drew me in, and she was cute, and she just told me to, and it was a first kiss, and everything I've kind of been around has said, hey, first kiss, way to go, kid, go get it. And apparently I didn't know that a domineering woman was something I was super into, so it all just kind of rushed together. I can look back and say that, and it's nice, or I like it. And I think if you're having a bad time, or you're down, or whatever else, if it's difficult for you, I think it can be very nice and special to look back and have a moment to think about and maybe feel a little better, or just feel warmer, or nostalgic, or nicer in some way. I think that's a very powerful tool. I mean, a girl I barely knew spoke to me, lured me to a secluded place, told me she was going to or that I was going to kiss her, and then I just did it, and she said, cool, thanks, and rolled off and left. That's really what she said. I remember that part pretty clearly. And that was the end of it. But it was still my first kiss. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please leave in the comments some prompts, questions, suggestions you'd like me to get to in future videos. I'll put them in the randomized pool and have them as options. Or if I really like an idea, I'll just do a video on that immediately. Like and subscribe, as YouTube requires me to tell you, so that people will see my videos. And other than that, if you go and watch the next video, I'll be there.